I really don't want to move on. I feel like we got a lot more there, but time works the way time works. But if we're going to move on, I kind of love what we're moving on to. So, nationwide economic boycott blackout starts November 25th. Um, this is something that warms my heart. Um, we joke on this show about our forms of resistance that we prefer. Um, I like to get out to a protest. I like to see an active protest. I like it when it's a little disruptive. You know, it gets a little bit more attention. I don't like seeing people hurt, of course, but I think that if you're going to do something, do it and remind people that they should be afraid of the population, right? Remind elected officials that they should be afraid of the population. And so a display of strength to me is not the worst thing in the world. Now, I want to make that live a little bit more for you because, you know, I'm from Los Angeles. That's where I was born. So, you know, in 1992, anybody that's familiar with what was going on in Los Angeles in 1992, um, you can appreciate sort of the culture that I come from. Again, I want to make sure that I state it plainly. I'm never going to be a person that wants to see violence or anything like that. You know, even property damage is something that, you know, I don't know. But how about this? I think the thing that I prefer to all other forms of resistance is boycotting, strategic spending, because it only benefits you if it's done correctly, right? Never put your families or yourself, put anyone's health in danger and jeopardy. You know, make sure you have food, make sure you know, have gas, you can get to work, you're economically solvent. But remember always that this is a consumer based economy that we live in. And we have to be consumers in order to feed the machine, in a manner of speaking. But we don't have to be consumers for any other reason outside of that. And once we realize that, we save a lot of money. People quit smoking, people drop drug habits, people give up addictions here and there. And we're a society that's widely addicted. But once that happens, everyone realizes there's so much more money, right? So this boycott, I think, is a way to flex our muscles as a people. It doesn't need to be all people, just enough to affect those razor thin margins that all the huge corporations live and die by, for long enough to get them to put pressure on the powers that be for us, right? Because this one actually does flow upstream. And I will let you know what the concerted effort looks like, and then Q will get your thoughts here. This is from the BIN. A nationwide boycott is set for November 25th through December 2nd. Again, I want to read that so you can mark your calendars. A nationwide boycott is set for November 25th through December 2nd. I'm going to go a lot longer. I'm going to be boycotting for years. But anyway, I'll continue. With organizers using Americans to shut down the economy by avoiding work and spending. The protest, organized by Blackout, the system, seeks to highlight economic inequality, government dysfunction, and corporate influence in politics during the busy Thanksgiving shopping period, including Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Quote, day one, no work, no shopping. We vanished from their system, unquote. A promotional video on Instagram declares. It goes on to say, we are the economy. Without us, nothing moves, unquote. Organizers say the blackout is a peaceful, strategic withdrawal of labor and consumer spending to demonstrate, quote, that real power belongs to the people, unquote. Those unable to take the full week off are encouraged to participate through working strikes, such as working to rule, slowing down productivity, or abstaining from discretionary purchases. And I think that the abstaining from discretionary purposes, that's the one that I really love, okay? Especially when it comes to companies that have dropped their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to bow to this administration. and want to still perform in his economy where he gets the credit for it. I absolutely will not participate in that to the extent that is possible for me and my family. All right, let me get back to the article. The protest comes amid the ongoing federal government shutdown, which has already disrupted key programs like the SNAP assistance program. Blackout, the system, launched in 2020 to promote unity across race, class, and culture, and has previously aligned with the People's Union USA, another grassroots activist network that has urged boycotts of major corporations, including Amazon, Walmart, and Disney. Quote, we are shutting down the U.S. economy strategically and peacefully by removing our labor, our spending, our financial support. This is about reclaiming power and restoring justice, unquote. So I'm really excited about that. And you and I haven't had a chance to have this conversation. How are you feeling about it, Q?
You know, this is what I've noticed. One, that there is power in our dollar. Learning that we have trillions of dollars in spending power is a very, very powerful piece of data and information to be aware of. However, me and Ramses ain't never going back to Target.
Never. What?
Some people have, though.
I mean,
Some people never stopped.
hmm.
Now, for some people, you and I had a conversation early on when we started talking about boycotting. For some people, boycotting is almost impossible. They're already very close to the poverty line. They do not have access to different channels and different ways of getting things, and they don't have time to live a less convenient life.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't. There are some that just don't want to, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish they just wouldn't, but would be quiet. But what they do is they feel guilty that they're still participating.
Yeah, you're right.
They have to then justify it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to discourage you from boycotting. And that drives me crazy. Yeah. They will tell you that it's not effective. They will tell you that it's useless. They will give you all these reasons why what you're doing doesn't make sense and won't affect any change, because they want people to backslide with them. When they go to Target, they want you to go with them. When they support all these places that we don't want to support anymore, they want you to continue to do the same thing so that they don't have to feel guilty about it. Yeah. So do your research and understand that that company lost billions of dollars because we just stopped going. And all of us didn't even stop. Some people never stopped, but enough of us were intentional enough with our time, with our dollar, with our attention, that it had real impact. Mm. And if we stayed consistent, it had even grander impact. Because if we only abstain for that week, and then after that week we triple down, then you're right, it won't have any impact. Right? If we do a national gas boycott and on Monday we not getting no gas, but on Tuesday everybody go get gas, then yeah, it wasn't effective. But if we have some organized, sustained, collective, unified decisions like this, where we all participate and we all stick to it, it does give real change. Mm-hmm. Right? They were videos of ICE running up on farmers and their workers a couple months ago. You stop seeing those videos because these corporations that rely on those farm workers reached out to their people in Washington like, hey, man. Hey, fam. You know what I'm saying? That routing number is mine. That check account number is mine, and you messing with it. Fall back. And then their Lord and Savior got on TV and proclaimed how important our farm workers were. He didn't have no change of heart. They didn't get more important to him than people who he got at his, luxurious ball while he's not feeding his citizens, and they spend 20 million of our tax dollars on a party. Those people at that party was losing some coin. Yeah. So our collective voice matters, Rams, and you were the one that brought that to my attention, that helped educate me on the power of Black spending, or the lack thereof. But we gotta all buy in. And if you don't feel like sitting this one out, then just don't sit it out, but be quiet. Have your guilty conscience by yourself. Same people that told us not to vote are the same people telling us not to boycott. And you see the results that give us. Just sit down and be quiet.
Sit down. I want to add something here, because I realize that us saying boycott Especially for this handful of days. What was it? November. I want to say the dates again. November 25th through December 2nd. I don't want people to think that that's all that we're saying. I think that this is something that can be a bit of a learning experience for people who have never participated in actively shaping their material reality before, beyond, their home and their community, but indeed their country, shaping their country and being an active participant beyond simply voting or holding up a sign at a protest. So let me share a couple of things with you. One thing you may not know, again, is big businesses, in order to have all of those stores and all of that inventory and have all of those workers on their payroll, they have to get a lot of money from investors and banks, right? This isn't just like we'll just pick a store like a Target or a Walmart or something like that. Imagine how much money is wrapped up in every single Walmart. They have to pay for the parking lot, the electricity, everything, insurance, everything, right? How much that costs. Imagine how much that costs, right? That's not coming from one person's pocket. Even if a person had that much money, because there are billionaires, even if there was a person with that much money, they would not risk their entire fortune just to bankroll an operation like that. They have investors, which means they have debt that they have to service, right? On top of their payroll, on top of procuring additional inventory and so forth. And so this comes from a person that has a master's degree in business. Most of the business, all of them really, all of the ones that are national, have so much debt that they live and die on the razor thin profit margins that they make from their inventory, and quarter to quarter, if they're able to pay dividends or buy back shares, this is their strategy, right? So it only takes a handful of people to affect this entire economy. Again, this is a consumer-based economy, right? Next time you go to a big store, if you go, I won't go, but next time you go, look at everything in that store and tell yourself, do I really need anything in this store for the next 3 years? Because I don't want him to get credit for that. Donald Trump, I don't want him to get credit. Do I need towels? Do I really need towels? Right? And when you start asking yourself that, then you start realizing, oh, they got me. I'm one of the consumers. I'm the cog in the machine. No, I refuse. You're going to save so much money. At the end of this, you're going to have mad dough. I'm looking forward to that. Consider alternatives. I know a lot of people are addicted to Amazon. If you need to get something from Amazon, do what I do. Go to eBay. Why not? Go to Temu. Don't give your money to Amazon, right? And I think if you just kind of keep these strategies central to your activism, then not only will we be able to affect the government, but we'll also end up with more money. And before we move on, I do want to say that I want to shout out the Savor app. Okay, this is for folks that want to become better allies and people that want to make money. So we're going to kind of have a little bit of an intersection here. We're not getting paid to do this. This is something I'm just a big fan of. So I'm going to share this. This is out of Houston, Texas. This is from CBS, this article. Today, Savor officially launched on iOS and Android, introducing the first savings app that makes savings goals social while keeping balances private. Unlike traditional finance apps that make saving feel isolating, Savor lets users invite trusted friends and family into their private circle to celebrate milestones, provide encouragement, and stay motivated, all without revealing goal amounts. Okay. This is a quote. "Money is personal, but it doesn't have to be lonely," said Jamila Jaffoon. I hope I'm saying that right. Co-founder of Savor. She goes on to say, "We built Savor because saving alone is tough. When you invite people you trust, your best friend, your sister, your cousin, subtly hitting your goals feels possible. Your circle never sees dollar amounts, whether it's $10 or $10,000. So you get the motivation without judgment," unquote. I want to share too that this is Black owned. So again, savor.com, just make sure I say it. I'll say it again at the end. I wanted to share a little bit more. Sabre is powered by what the founders call the circle effect, based on the proven psychological principle that people are more likely to achieve goals when they have social motivation from trusted supporters. With Gen Z increasingly comfortable setting financial boundaries and being transparent about money with their friends, Sabre provides the perfect platform for this generation to harness peer support while maintaining privacy. Younger generations are saving less than ever, not because they don't want to, but because traditional savings tools feel isolating and overwhelming. Sabre removes the shame and loneliness from saving by making it a shared experience. Quote, "We watched too many friends set goals in January and abandon them by March," unquote, said Shola Ola, co-founder of Sabre. This person goes on to say, "The missing piece wasn't willpower, it was pure motivation. Sabre creates a space where your people can cheer you on, whether you're saving $50 for concert tickets or $5,000 for a down payment. And when your circle sees your progress, they're inspired to start saving too," unquote. So I want to go back again. That's SAVRR.com or .app if you want to download the app. And I also want to remind you, the Blackout, the economic blackout, starts November 25th and runs through December 2nd. But if you can, keep it up. I certainly will. And yeah, we'll see you at the top.